Folks, I want to talk to you today about a bit of a sensitive subject. This is something that I brought up on LinkedIn recently, and I got a ton of pushback. And so I kind of wanted to go into it a little bit more in depth here on YouTube, where I can talk about my reasoning and kind of the history behind it. Folks, let me tell you why I no longer help people on LinkedIn for free. So, let's jump in the Wayback Machine. All the way back to August of 2020. We're in the pandemic, right? That's when I made up my mind to retire. Now, some of the steps that I took was I started learning the data analytics game. I got on LinkedIn, spruced up my resume, started going through all the steps required to transition from one career of 20 plus years into what will hopefully be another career of 20 plus years. But a completely different domain, and I really had to get my game together. So I jumped into it with both feet as much as I could within the time allotted. And the one thing that I got very good at very quickly was LinkedIn. So I started producing content on LinkedIn. I started getting my name out there. I started rubbing elbows with data thought leaders and content creators that were known names. I was surprised at how successful I was. Probably everyone else was too, but the thing that I noticed was people started very quickly turning to me for help, which honestly, I was very flattered. I was a beginner. I still feel like a beginner in data analytics. And so to be sitting there taking intro to SQL classes and just figuring out how to type hello world with Python, and to have people say, can you guide me? Can you help me? Can you fix my LinkedIn profile? Was very flattering. I was busy improving my own skills, I was creating content, and I was developing my brand. My brand started to split off into military transition, where I was very happy to help people, reasons we'll get into. And then I started pivoting that brand from the sort of very easy content about transitioning out of the military into data analytics. And I started branding myself as a data analyst in very deliberate steps. And I think that was fairly unique for social media. A lot of people hadn't seen that before. And so I started talking very extensively about that, and people started turning to me more and more for help. Now, the ways in which they wanted help started to kind of coalesce into a few different areas. They wanted help with their resume. I didn't have my resume terribly prominently displayed, but everybody kind of wants help with their resume, and it's a good little bite-sized thing you can do for people. They wanted help with their LinkedIn profile. I very quickly built my LinkedIn profile into something that was good, was a landing page, and was a source of pride for me. And I would talk extensively about the practices that have made me successful on LinkedIn. And they also started asking me, hey, how can I craft a data career? Which is hilarious to me when I didn't actually have a data career of my own. I was still kind of working on it. And at first, it never even occurred to me to ask for any kind of compensation or payback, or even a friend, anything more than a LinkedIn connection as compensation for what I was doing for them. It was, like I said, it was flattering. I wanted to help, and there's a couple of reasons I wanted to help. I don't think it's bragging to say I'm a nice guy. Most people that know me will agree with that, so I'm not really tooting my own horn. The other thing is, I've always been kind of a believer that calling someone nice is not necessarily a compliment. I've definitely gone through large portions of my life where I was a go along to get along. I would certainly say it's much more difficult to be critical of people, to be constructive, to be challenging, than it is to just pat them on the back and say good job. So being a nice guy, not necessarily tooting my own horn, but I definitely, when people ask for help, I'm sympathetic to them. But even bigger than that, and this is what creates difficulties for me, is that challenge is interesting. I posted about this on LinkedIn today, but when I see something broken and it's in an area where I have expertise, I have to fix it. It's a compulsion. And so I feel pretty good about my writing skills. I feel pretty good about my ability to craft a resume. And when somebody tosses me their resume and says, what do you think? And it's just busted. It sticks with me. I can't not fix it. So there are times when, no kidding, people will send me their resume in a message and I'm trying to talk myself out of opening the resume. Because as soon as I see it and as soon as I see those flaws, I have to dig in. It's the same way with a LinkedIn profile. When somebody says, give my LinkedIn profile a scrub, there's a voice in my head that says, don't even look. Don't even look. Because as soon as I look, all I see are the flaws and I've got to start working on it. And then coaching. The challenge there is interesting because that's just a very complex problem. It has to be individualized. There are circumstances, there's a time frame there. So that's just a super neat strategic problem when someone says, hey, help me with my data career, period, end of sentence. And then I've just got a blank canvas to work with. That challenge is just tantalizing for me. What does all that add up to? Me spending a lot of time on free stuff. And then there's the kicker, and I'll show you what happens. Right here, just bear with me on these pictures, okay? I'm not an artist. After people get my help, these right here are Pac-Man ghosts. Just go with it, they're ghosts, okay? I get ghosted. Here are the ghosts. These are the people that got the, let's say, resume, LinkedIn profile, because this guy's blue, and this one got the data career coaching. There's the cloud of dust, and there's stick figure me standing there going Whiskey Tango Foxtrot over. What happened? As soon as I give them my help, they take the resume review, they take the LinkedIn profile advice, they take the career coaching. Maybe they apply it, maybe they don't, but I never hear from them again. 9 times out of 10. Why? I ask myself why, once I noticed that this was a trend over an extended period of time. And I think the biggest answer is this. It's a natural human instinct. They know that these people that I assist, they know they got something for nothing. And when you know you got something for nothing, and then when you maybe don't say thank you, and then when you maybe don't speak to a person for a while, there's a guilt that builds in there. There's a remorse over time that makes it more and more difficult to check back in and say, hey, thanks for that resume review you gave me 6 months ago. I got a job because of that. You feel bad. At least I hope. I don't say I hope they feel bad, but I think that that's it. There's a guilt. There's a remorse there. Okay. Now, like I said, I got a ton of pushback when I talked about this on LinkedIn, and 3,000 characters is not a lot of space to really flesh out this topic. We're at 7.5 minutes right now and still rolling. Okay. For the haters out there that pushed back on LinkedIn, and if they see this on YouTube, they'll push back again. Check it out. It is 100% my fault. 100% my fault. And why do I say that? Well, let me give you a quick parable if you'll stick with me. Let's say you and I are out in public somewhere and you come to me, it's around lunchtime, and you say, man, forgot my lunch, I'm really hungry. And I'm sitting there eating and I say, well, I've had my sandwich. I have this apple. I don't really need it. It's yours if you want it. So I toss you the apple, you sit there, chow down on the apple, couple of minutes, you're done, you say thanks, toss the core and walk away. Now naturally, as you might imagine, I'm sitting there feeling, wow, that was kind of messed up. I mean, I kind of feel a bit used here. This person didn't even really give me the time of day, didn't hang out, didn't make conversation, not much of a thank you. When I just kind of saved them from certain starvation for the rest of the day. But let me remind you, it is 100% my fault. 100%. Why? I didn't attach any strings to that apple, so you don't owe me anything. I didn't say it's $1. If I had, maybe you would have paid me, and then we could have been good. I didn't say, hey, the price of that apple is you got to sit here for 15 minutes and talk to me. You got to give me your email address or a business card or anything. I just said, I have an apple. You may have it. Here. You took something of value for free, no strings attached, and as far as you were concerned, the transaction was finished. Now, it's not you, it's the ubiquitous you. But just like the apple, my help was free. I attached no strings, therefore, I can't demand anything in recompense. So, what's the solution? Because so far, my response has just been, I need to get more efficient with this. I need to up the quality. I need to put more systems in place so I can just do a resume review in 10 minutes and be done with it. Or I just DM back, give them kind of like the wave tops. Here's the 3 worst things I see on your resume. Go. That's not a good response because, first of all, that still takes time. Second of all, I'm not really providing that much value to that person. So, what's the solution? Well, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to start charging money to veterans or people that have skin in the game or have something in common with me. If one of my good friends comes to me and says, hey, can you help me with my resume? I'm not going to charge him money or her. I'm going to help them, okay? Likewise, if you have skin in the game and we have something invested in each other, we have a relationship based on something, then my help to you within certain limits is free. Veterans of the United States Department of Defense. Now, I put veterans there. Obviously, it also covers service members and military spouses as well. If you come to me and you need a resume review, that's free. If you come to me and you need a LinkedIn profile scrub, that's free. A handful of data career advice, also free. Now, I extend that same thing to the people that complete my LinkedIn Hard Mode Challenge, which you can find out about if you click through my YouTube channel or go to my LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn Hard Mode is a 30-day content challenge. The people that have done it will tell you, you've got to generate 30 pieces of original content and post them on 30 consecutive calendar days on LinkedIn. That's a whole lot more hours than whatever it would take to earn you the money to hire me for a half hour or an hour to provide this coaching. But the challenge is its own reward, so I'll let that speak for itself. But the commonality here is veterans, current serving service members, and military spouses, they've got skin in the game just like I do. They've made the same sacrifices that I have, and so we feel a bond of kinship. People that complete LinkedIn Hard Mode, we've been through a trial together as well, some of us multiple times. And so I feel a bond of kinship with them where they've already paid up front for my help. If you don't fit into one of those two groups, or if you're not willing to give that sacrifice, good for you. Serving in the military is not for everybody. Certainly marrying into the military isn't for everybody. And LinkedIn Hard Mode, not for everybody either, I'll freely admit. But if you don't fit into one of those two categories, you're not family, you're not a personal friend, I'm sorry, but I don't help you for free anymore. I don't have the time, and you don't want the low quality that I'm going to give you if that help is free. It's not expensive. I now charge for resume, LinkedIn, and data career coaching through my Calendly site. I'll post the link that you can get through, but folks, I guarantee you it's worth it. It's worth it for me, it's worth it for you, and now I can help people well, give them high quality assistance in good conscience. Guys, I welcome all the haters. Go ahead and give me your best shot, and I'll see you guys around LinkedIn.